Ahoy hoy, I'm Planarwalk, and welcome to episode 5 of Planartalk. And today we have NotJah Witness on. I'm just going to switch over to the... There we go, and switch over to... So, ahoy hoy, NotJah.
G'day, g'day. How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad for early in the morning.
Yeah, it's not quite as early for me, but it's...
Don't rub it in, mate.
But it's actually still pretty cold because, I don't know, it's just going into winter, and where I am, we get the full brunt of the coldness of winter, so
Yeah,
unfortunately,
we only get about a week or two of winter if we're lucky. It'll
yeah,
go from nice warm weather to a week or two of really freaking cold, at least it feels it, comparatively, and then back into summer again.
yeah.
And I get mates from New Zealand who come around here in our winter and they're walking around in friggin' singlets and stuff saying it's so hot.
That was pretty much what I was doing when I was over there.
Yeah, nah, I can understand it coming from New Zealand, it's a lot colder there, so.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway,
More like Melbourne weather, isn't it?
what?
Like, isn't it a bit more like Melbourne weather, the temperature-wise?
I haven't.
Melbourne's pretty cold usually.
I haven't
compared
been
to
to
where I am.
Melbourne.
Nah, fair enough. I was just thinking, roughly, because of the level and latitude, I was thinking it might be around that level.
Yeah. So if anyone has any questions for NotJah, feel free to ask him in the chat. Yeah. Some of them will go ignored depending on. Well, if no one shows up, then most of them will probably get answered. But if a lot of people show up, some of them will go ignored. So, but I've got a few questions that I want to ask. So, I don't know if you've heard of this fella called Friendly Geordies.
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. Well, he has this meme on his channel where he talks about the Liberal government. And one thing that I wanted to point out is when it comes to the Liberal Party of Australia, their YouTube channel, I recently had a look, and one of the videos on there the other day had 9 views after 5 hours or something like that, despite them
Wow.
having 15,000 subscribers.
And being a major leading political party in Australia, you'd think they'd at least get a little bit more than that.
You'd think so.
I mean, even just the news companies, you'd think there'd be a couple people working at news. You know what? That's probably what the 9 views were. They were just 9 people in the news work, whatever channel news workers that have to check up on these things and see if it's anything they need to do a report on. That would
Probably.
be those 9 views.
I feel like the 15,000 subscribers to the Liberal Party are the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party, the people that work in it, and maybe a few really big fans of the Liberal Party, and the rest of
Or
them.
they'd be like lobbyists, maybe. 'Cause
Yeah,
a lot of the people in, especially our Liberal Party at least, are slightly older generation voters. They're not exactly all hip with the YouTube.
yeah. And Spooky Beard here asks you, what's your favorite Ninja Turtle? And he also asked me.
That's not your question to ask. That's Pheasant's question to ask. Faithless Pheasant, Josiah Hansen. He is one of the regulars around our spots, and that's his question. He always asks every new person that's interviewed, "What's your favorite Ninja Turtle?"
Okay.
We'll answer that when Pheasant rocks up.
Okay. But yeah, when it comes to the Liberal Party of Australia, I really need to know, to sort of get clarity on it, how liberal is it actually? Like, if we had to go on a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 is like complete communist utopia, 7 would be the New Zealand Labour Party. About 4 would probably be the Democrats of USA. 2 would probably be Dave Rubin, and 0 would be Nazi Germany. Where would the Liberal Party fall on that when it comes to how liberal they actually are?
Very close to 2 and 3, because they're a conservative party.
Okay. Because I find that name to be very misleading, the Liberal Party, and they're actually conservative.
Yeah, but there are different ways of thinking about it. I think it's a lot to do with how we think of the liberal and conservative parties in America. And I mean, I'm sure there's proper history to our reason why why they're named that way. But I think it's like, if we look at American politics, for example, you've got the left and the right, the liberals, the conservatives, but even in their spectrums, they're not very, like you could argue at least that there is a spectrum of left that is sort of right. Like the mainstream Democrats aren't very left.
Yeah,
I have that argument. And I think it's a similar sort of thing here.
Yeah, I actually agree. Like, because when it comes to New Zealand, I find that the national government or the national party here is actually probably more left leaning than the Democrats in USA.
Yeah,
And
I'd definitely say that. Yeah, the mainstream Democrats anyway.
Yeah. And one person's just super chatted $5.05 US and says, "I would never be Nazi Germany, and I resent the implication." I appreciate the super chat, and I don't think I implied that you're Nazi Germany.
Zero's a good sort.
Yeah.
And you'll notice he always donates in very specific numeral donations.
Okay. I do notice that some people do that. Like one of my favorite ones is $6.66.
I'm pretty sure, if I'm not, yeah, that's one of my favorite personally is $4.20.
Definitely.
Whenever I donate to patrons, my patron offer is always $4.20, and I even have a thing on my Patreon account. So if you want to become a VIC, you can become a VIC $4.20.
Okay. Yeah.
Which sucks though, because just quickly, because I'll donate to some other creators, as I said, only $4.20, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of the other creators will have tier limits at $5. And so at $5, you get all this extra stuff. And I'm there going, nah, come on, give it to me, dude. Like, I'm doing this out of principle. It's a $4.20 thing. Just give me the goddamn tier.
Yeah. For me, I have the same kind of thing where for every $5, so on Patreon, and some people probably notice down the bottom, there's this thing where it says, at the moment, I think it says what Jesus is coming up. And so so you can have, for every $5 you donate, you get a stream card. And a lot of people, okay. I think I really need to sort of just go through everyone and say, hey, you still haven't selected a stream or come up with a stream card, because they can put anything on the on the bottom of the stream as long as it's within reason. I don't. Yeah. There's some things that I won't allow, but that it makes sense to not allow certain things. If things don't line up.
You still want an audience.
Yeah, exactly. But we've got Bullionator here and Chris.
Hey,
yeah, and earlier someone asked, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes, but I wouldn't mandate it.
I actually kind of agree. For April 1st, apparently they had Domino's. They made a pizza which had pineapple, banana, and spaghetti on it.
Yeah, that's going a bit too far for my liking.
Apparently they actually had some orders, which
Jesus.
surprises me. But Vibrantly Brantley donated $6.66 US. So yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
After the show, I'll get you to talk me through the stream card things, because if that's what I'm seeing at the bottom of your stream, that's really cool. And I'd like to learn how to do that.
Oh, that's just simply what I have
It's
is
just simply it. Normally means it's going to take a bit of explanation. I figure it can be an after show thing because it's not really, important now.
well, the way that it works down on the bottom is it's. So I have a program which I personally wrote myself.
Oh, true.
So what it is it's it puts a window on my screen and I just capture that window and it just randomly generates a number. It actually randomly generates multiple numbers. The first number decides what stream card it is. The second number decides what YouTuber it will put on, if it was going to put a YouTuber on there. The third one is also another YouTuber. The fourth one is a word. And the fifth one, I think, is another word. So something like that. And so yeah, it's that allows me to put all kinds of things. It even allows me to randomize the stream cards a little bit. So one of the things that I sent to Agnostic Aussie last night when I was adding a new one in is it came up with Planarwalk is secretly an idiot. So so yeah,
pretty cool. I'm actually impressed that it's something you've written that yourself, and it's not like just a one of the extra features on Patron or on OBS or some shit.
Yeah. It allows me to do a whole lot of things. I actually think the first variation I saw was on the Dark Wars channel. And I was like, what if I did that myself? And I was thinking about it, and I noticed that his would always go through the same loop. Yeah. But I wanted something different. I wanted it to be completely random, so I decided to my initial one didn't have the random words, so it was just would choose a random one. Then when I started streaming again, after I went to Australia, I decided, well, I want to rewrite this to be closest to what I wanted. And so I was thinking, okay, well, I rewrote it. It wasn't too hard to rewrite it because it's just simple lines of code. Then I was thinking, wait, what if I do this? What if I add random words? So I did that. I added random YouTubers, and then I also added the Patron feature. So if you're a patron, it displays a profile picture. If you don't display a profile picture like what it's doing now, Simon says, I hope you're all keeping it flat. It just displays a Patron logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and I've been fixing it up whenever there's something that goes wrong. Like, I had to change it for Agnostic Aussie because he donated on PayPal, not Patreon. And I still wanted to consider him a Patreon, so he's an honorary patron.
Yeah, I saw that title. I was like, what's he done? He doesn't give anything to me. Oh, fuck, I'll come for you. Oh, sorry, should I be careful not to swear, or is that okay? Because I do sometimes slip.
So the way that I go about it is, I don't fucking swear. So
the point. Fair enough.
As I say, I'm a good Christian. I don't swear, I don't drink, and I don't smoke. But fuck, I left my cigarettes at the pub again.
Fair cool.
So yeah,
might steal that one day.
I stole it from someone.
Wow, that's the way a good joke works.
Yeah, along with his shoes.
And his wallet.
I stole that joke too.
Alright. Hey, Charisma.
Oh yeah, we've got Charisma here. But there was one other thing that I do want to touch on, and that is because you are a ex-Jehovah's Witness from what I can tell, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Given the name, yeah.
So there have been times when people have said, oh, Jehovah's Witnesses don't seem all that bad. But I find that when you talk to an ex-Jehovah's Witness, you get a different story. Because I find that, when Jehovah's Witnesses, they come and knock on your door, it's like, hello, how's it going? We're not a cult. We just want you to join us. But when you actually, when I talk to someone like you, you're probably going to say, yes, it's definitely a cult. Don't join them. So I want to get your opinion on this.
Well, that's pretty accurate. Thing is, 2 years ago, I'd been outside of the organization for over a decade. I was 12 when I left, but I kept their beliefs, and I sort of held their witnesses in high stead. Like, I kind of actually figured for a long time that I was not holding the righteous standards, and I'd be a hypocrite to actually walk back into a witnessing, to be a witness. And so I just was, my own individual believer, and um, I went through a period of challenging myself and trying to find other, religions and stuff, and I always kept coming back to the JW belief. And so
Okay.
I'd be one of those people that would always go, they're not that bad. They're not a cult. They're just a nice, friendly Christian group. Like they get a bad rap. Um, I believed that for a long time, even well after I'd left, because I still didn't actually question my beliefs. I was always looking for other beliefs to question other beliefs. I wasn't really challenging myself. And when I started challenging those long held beliefs and what I thought about the organization and these rumors that I started hearing, I'm like, well, there's no way I'm just going to let it go. Like, I started hearing things about the kitty fiddling, and I'm like, if there's even a slither of truth there, I'm going to be pissed, because that's the sort of stuff that I grew up, we knew all about the Catholic Church and their issues. And that was one of the big reasons that we would argue that they're clearly of the devil, they're Christendom, they are the evil churches and stuff. And so if this stuff is going on in our church, that throws a huge wrench into the works.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you're like, well, now we're the evil, we're the Christendom, we're the bad church. Like that throws everything out of whack. It ruins the entire belief system basically. And so with more research, you find out, oh, they are a cult. Oh, they do all these awful things, not just that. Like, and you get to a tipping point where you can't turn back. You can't stop thinking that. You can't ignore that anymore. Because before you didn't know, you had ignorance was bliss.
Yeah.
Whereas once you knew, you're stuck knowing. You can't then go and go, oh, well, they're not that bad. Because no, they're that bad.
I mean, I do find that some people will try and say something like, let's just say someone goes, well, they're not really a Jehovah's Witness. Sure, they're high up in it, but they have turned their back on Jehovah or something, and that would be probably a believer's way of trying to get around it by saying they're not really like this, Kind of like the No True Scotsman.
That's a common thing. A lot of the times that will happen in a way like that, maybe not really a Jehovah's Witness, but your heart wasn't really in it. You haven't dedicated yourself to Jehovah's, sort of thing, that kind of talk. But that'll be the sort of view people have, when Prince was still around, he was a practicing witness, but no matter what he did, no everyday witness would really grant him the sort of right in their mind to be another, like just a Jehovah's Witness, because he was rich, because he was famous, and he flaunted himself. And to a witness, that sort of disqualifies you. Doesn't technically, there's no actual scripture saying that, but that's the way their minds work. So they think basically he should be shunned. He shouldn't be a witness. He shouldn't be representing them.
Yeah.
And same with the Elder Jacksons.
Yeah.
Because they pushed their family into fame and fortune. Same with who are the two girls that do tennis? Serena Williams and the other one.
I don't keep up with tennis that often.
No, I don't either. But I mean, it was the same kind of thing. Whenever you get a media article, will mention that they're Jehovah's Witnesses. That will be what my Jehovah's Witness family focus on, because they will go, no, she's not. And they'll have a little argument about it and how it's actually doing a disservice to Jehovah's name.
Can't they
ignorant to the fact that there's elders fucking children. Like, come on.
Yeah, can't they just, disfellowship or something?
Well, sort of. Because that actually happens within the local, your local elders will organize the group to disfellowship you. And I don't know how it actually works, like what, I think it's notoriety, whether it might be they're pitching in a lot of money to the church, whatever they do to keep their stead, their elders are okay with it, and so they don't get disfellowshipped, they don't get shunned or anything. So it's a weird spot.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you do have a lot of people that will, whether it's in a community, whether it's in a cult, you'll have people that just won't agree with another person, so they'll be like, I don't want to be associated with this person, but I still want to be part of the group. So.
Yeah, and it's kind of a hard thing to pull off with the witnesses, because if you get to a point where the group will, if you get shunned or disfellowshipped by the group, and then you're a witness still trying to keep in contact, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Like, you're going to find it hard to stay within that community yourself. Because even if you've done nothing wrong other than had communication with this disfellowship person, that will be enough to show that you're doubting. You're, letting yourself be led away, and they will just kick you out because they think you will harm the flock.
Yeah, because I've actually the other day I was talking to someone who is also an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and he said that when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses in public, I mean, you can be a friend with a Jehovah's Witness, you can talk with them in public or at a coffee store or something, but you'll notice that if you're not a Jehovah's Witness, they won't invite you over for tea or anything. They won't invite you over for a barbecue or whatever. So, it's...
You're not, like, even if you think you're friends with them, they won't necessarily think you're friends with, like, you're their friend. Like, there will be a divide. You're somebody from the world. You're always going to be tainted with being a worldly person.
Yeah. I even went through
Of course, they con you into it.
Yeah. I even went through the bite model with this person, and I heard a lot of, yep, definitely, yep. Are you familiar with the bite model?
Sure am.
Yeah. So you've probably gone through it and seen that Jehovah's Witness, fulfills most of the boxes on there.
Yeah, one of the better videos I saw of that was one of Telltale's ones, where at one point he was going through, I think one of the versions of the bite model anyway, going through a few different churches with it. But he he of course could have done it more thorough. You could have gone for hours about their bullshit, but he put it very succinctly, but he covered all the bases really well, So I've always I think of that video when I think of doing the bite model on the JWs.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up two YouTubers which I thoroughly enjoy, and I was going to say I don't know if you've heard of them, and one is Telltale and the other is myself. I'm an egomaniac. I don't think you've heard of this Planarwalk dude. He's an asshole. So apparently he's doing some stream right now. So
I've funnily enough, I've heard of both of them.
I believe we've actually been on this.
I'm sorry. I was just starting to sing. I do that sometimes. I get a fall into song. Been on the same stream. I know that me and that Planarwalk guy, we've done a stream at one point.
Yeah, I believe we're on Godless Engineers Hangout or something like that. That's...
Are we?
Yeah, we were at one time, I believe.
Oh, we were at one time.
Yeah.
Oh, that would surprise you. Yeah. I've actually been surprised. Like, when I started this whole thing, I sort of figured that, well, first, I never thought I'd meet anybody or get anywhere with my channel. But even when it started to grow, I'm like, yeah, I'll be able to keep track of all these people, and I'm doing pretty good so far. But then I'll meet somebody and they'll be like, yeah, we met on this, show, and I'm just like, I don't even remember being on the show. Like, and then it'll be another point where like, they'll look familiar and they'll be like, oh, I know you from somewhere. And we'll go through a list of different shows, like the non-sex, it could be Neil's, it could be all these different shows. And we just don't know where we actually met each other. Like, we know each other, but we have no idea where it was.
Yeah.
Fuck, can't keep track of all this, hey?
Yeah.
Sup, Shane? How you doing, dude?
Yeah, like I remember people like Shane, and I remember people like
Can't forget
Booleanator.
Shane.
And
I'm pretty familiar with all of the names, except Ugly German Truths doesn't look familiar to me. Is that and William Signs?
yeah, Ugly German Truths, I remember that he used to be Pheno 3000.
Oh, you're Fino. Hey,
Okay, so you do remember him.
I do not know Fino. I know almost everybody. I've been everywhere, man.
But, there's some people that will comment on my channel and I'll be like, who the fuck are you? And some people will comment on my channel and I don't know who they are, but later find out, okay, this is who this person is. Like, trying to remember Dave.
Glad I didn't yell at them.
Dave Marsh is one person, and apparently he's like a big flat earther or something, and he's commented on my channel.
Oh, they're always worth yelling at.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you encountered? I'm sure you've encountered. What's his face? The flat Earth bogan Jesus tosser.
Oh, Ross Thatcher.
I don't actually know his real name. That's the name I gave him. I know he's got some sort of name, Flat Earth Jesus or whatever, but no.
Yeah, flat Earth bogan.
Jesus tosser.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter which order, as long as you get those words in, you're good.
Yeah, that would be that is actually a pretty appropriate name for him. So I think I'll start calling him that.
Apparently, I've upset him, and I do feel a little bit bad about it because I didn't mean to upset him. But he goes on about his flat Earth stuff, and I said to him, "Look, mate, you live on the coast. Hire yourself a boat and go out. Prove the fucking flat Earth with your boat, or go to the ice wall. Like, do some proof." And he never got back to me on that. So I'm like, I got it. I figured it out. You're too fucking poor, mate. I'll hire you a boat. I'm only a couple of hours up the coast. I'll hire you a boat because you're a poor bogan, and we'll go and you can prove you're flat Earth. And he basically stopped talking to me, and I've continued from then on going, well, look, you're a poor-ass bogan that can't even afford to hire a boat.
Yeah.
Like, you want to go and prove the flat Earth, but you can't even afford to hire a boat. Like, go and get a bloody dinghy, mate. How much is it going to be? $10 a weekend.
Yeah. When it actually comes to him, one thing that if I had known about him when I was in Byron Bay, I probably would have gone like, yeah, we should. Do you have a P1000 or something? We can go and look at the there's a particular rock particular couple of rocks that are sort of in the middle of the in the middle of the bay, right? So
Yeah.
if you were to go down to the beach and look at them, part of one is actually obscured. Now I can't verify this 100%, but from my eyesight, I'm pretty sure part of one is obscured. But if you go up, you can actually see the whole thing. And there's a part where you can actually sort of go up a bit and see both of the rocks. So
one thing I would suggest is definitely verifying and double checking, like, before you pitch that, because you want to make sure you're accurate.
Yeah, and I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know how far they are, but it could be that they're only a mile out, and I've just got crap eyesight.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of other different factors that could come into play.
Oh, definitely.
I always figure if you've got the argument to point out that you're right in something, you always want to make sure you're right, especially when you're giving it to idiots like Platards, because they tend to take advantage of every slither you give them.
Oh yeah, when I was having a debate last week, right? Because these podcasts that I do, they happen every second week. So last week I was doing a debate and I was debating right the hand, and I'd just say, oh, okay, you're right on this, and he'd be like, woo! Fuck you! Well, he wasn't quite like that, but
Yeah.
you could pretty much get those vibes from him.
I got something right.
So,
And from then on, he walks around going, I'm smart.
yeah, I is this smart!
Yeah. Exactly.
And he was being like, he pretty much said, so because I didn't give you a point, you're dumb. It's like, no, you just don't admit when you're wrong. And I wasn't really giving him a point, so to speak. I was just saying, okay, you're right on this particular thing that has no...
And usually it leads into something wrong.
And, you know, I will give people credit when credit is due. I just expect the same thing in return. So, you know. And flat earthers
That's where
don't...
you go wrong.
What?
So that's where you go wrong.
Yeah, flat earthers don't... don't, you know, they'll be like, oh, you gave me one thing about me being right, but I won't give you anything about being right because I think that you're completely wrong because you think that we live on a sphere. And I can't comprehend that.
Yeah, they're not very good with the reciprocation of acceptance of being true, being right, sorry.
Yeah. But, you know, if, I might have a flat earther on eventually, which will be like that. I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, you know, one day find them. Not first, but one of the early experiences I had with a flat earther in real life was before I even did any of this. It was a few years ago. I was shooting a mate's photography for their wedding, and it was like the bride's uncle or something. And he calls me over, you know, and I'm just taking photos, and I come over to listen to whatever he's going to tell me to take a picture of him and his missus or something. I don't know. He just starts going on about conspiracies, and the main one was the Earth is flat. And at that point, the only thing I'd really knew about people that believed that actually believed that, were that they didn't believe Australia existed. And so I pitched that to him. I'm like, well, you know that, the Flat Earth Society don't believe in Australia, where we live. No, of course, we're actually not real. He was convinced that we're real, but it's not what we've been told. And we're all sort of imprisoned in this place. So it's very, very strange. I was I didn't know how to respond. I sort of still don't. But at the time, I was just so weirded out. I'm like, okay, look, I'm going back to my photography.
Fair enough.
He was the weirdest motherfucker, and that's what I think of when I just hear flat earther. Like, before I meet them or before I see them online or whatever, that's the person I think they are. So that's like the standard for them. They'll either be worse than that or they'll be a little smarter than that. Very rarely are they actually smarter than that.
Well, when it comes to the flat earthers nowadays, I think the baseline is Antonio Subarats, right? So
I'm shite with names, man. I'll look this one up. Antonio who?
Antonio Subarats.
Subaru? I found it. I just wrote sub and Google autocorrected. Oh, that dude. He looks familiar.
Yeah. So he's the baseline of...
Subrats. Oh, I love it. Anyway.
So when it comes to flat earthers, he's kind of the baseline, right? You can measure the intelligence of a flat earther in Subarats. So, if you're someone like Jeranism, that's probably 0.75 of a Subarat. If you're Infinite Plane Society, that's probably something like 0.6 of a Subarat. And
see, I know there's who is that? It must be that they have the Jeranism system. How many Jeranisms is it? And that's their standard.
Yeah.
Or jisms. Yeah.
Yeah. How many jisms can you fit into your intelligence?
Oh god, the connotations.
I always often like to have that kind of thing where someone can, take something that I say and run with it.
Oh yeah. Oh well. I mean, it's one of our best forms of humor.
But when it comes to this, the reason why Antonio Subarats is the baseline is because when it came to the document that I leaked on my channel, he was the first person that I heard of to go, "It's a joke."
True.
So it's
Huh.
he's
There's something going on bouncing around between those ears.
yeah. I'm sure if we were to measure his brain activity, it would be higher than anybody else in the flat Earth community. Or most people. There's probably a couple of people that have a bit more brain activity than Subarats, but if someone like Subarats can figure out, it's a joke, then it's probably he's probably got a bit more intelligence. So
He might have something that going for him.
yeah. But when it comes to apparently there's Orphan Red, and William Sines says 2.5 Subarats in each breast. So,
Comment.
that's probably a fair assessment because apparently she's a high IQ skeptic now.
When did that happen?
Apparently
she labeled herself stumbled. Oh no, that's right. She got into
she got into Mensa apparently.
Yeah, that's right. God damn it. It depressed me the first time I heard it. I didn't need to hear it again. But it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't know how people can take a lot of flat earthers seriously. But
no. I mean, other than complete numpties, I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, when it comes to me, the first time I heard about flat Earth, and I've actually been saying to myself, I've got to record a video, but each time I go to record a video, it's like, oh, the fire in NotJah happened. I need to make a video on that. This thing happened. I need to make a video on that. So I haven't made a video on it, but it's what stopped me from believing in flat Earth, and essentially comes down to the sun setting, right? The sun sets, so the Earth can't really be flat unless someone were to explain that to me, and no one can explain it to me because it's not flat. And because flat Earth is already is.
When you actually take in the world around you, just everything around you, and you really pay attention to what is happening, and you focus on the details of what is happening just as the day passes, even, as you say, as the sun setting, sun rising, it does kind of present itself as obvious, It makes it a lot harder to argue especially some of the points from flat earthers in the face of what you see. And I mean, some people are more advantaged than others. Might be that you're living by the sea, and so you have a really wide horizon. Like for me, it was living so far out in the country. You had such an expanse of a horizon, and it sort of becomes to the point where it's just undeniable. Even that you can be on ground level, and you'll see how much of the sun will pass the horizon as it sets. I then climb 20 meters up my tree back as a kid, and then I can watch the whole sunset again.
And
it's.
And when it comes to this kind of thing, I have an advantage from living in New Zealand, so I see the path of the sun in the summer, and in the summer we get a whole lot more sun time, or daylight.
Yeah.
So I see the sun start sort of in the southeast, and then it will head north and then set in the southwest, right? And you can see this if you're in New Zealand, and I can't understand how that could happen on a flat Earth.
Well, this is probably where they would come in with all their weird spinny, you got the flat Earth circle, and then you've got the sun and the moon doing all their weird spinny configure 8 things, to try and convince you that
I do
I
like.
think a nacho woman. You
I
can. I will always take a nacho woman. Sorry.
I just
That
saw
was so
something
good.
in the chat as well. Pure Ostension said.
Ostension.
Ostension said, New Zealand is a part of Australia. Fight!
Maybe that could be a fight. No. Depends how you want to define it.
I mean, I'll accept that New Zealand is a part of Australasia, right?
Yeah. I mean, but what I mean is the why I define it is because you can define it as its own country, but you could also, if you wanted to be an asshole, you could define it underneath Australian Constitution because it's
Okay.
written as a province of Australia under
Okay.
the Queen's Constitution.
Yeah, I think I heard something about that. But we want to keep our own sovereignty, and there is some good reason why. William Symes says, "Can we have you a prime minister, please?"
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
see, well, this is the thing. Like at this point in time, I think any real sane Australian, which there are a few of, unfortunately, would probably prefer it in New Zealand at the moment. Like, you guys have got to the unfortunate events aside, or even with that, you guys stood up and basically made your country proud. Whereas that stuff happens here, we become scared little pussies, and we become more assholey than before, and it's not fun. It's really
yeah,
not fun.
when I did want to actually bring up the prime minister of Australia, because I do know that your elections work differently to the ones in New Zealand, because it's every 3 years you vote, isn't it?
So, I should preface with I was a Jehovah's Witness. I've never voted.
Okay, because I do know that if you're enrolled to vote, you have to vote over there. But if you do vote every 3 years, you pretty much vote on which prime minister you want to kick out in about a year.
That seems to be the current going plan. For the last 5 years, 6 years, we've been doing that. I think we've had more prime ministers than years lately.
Okay. So, I think at this point it's what prime minister you want to kick out after 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if that's any estimation, it'll be what is his name? The guy that looks like an idiot. Oh, that doesn't narrow it down. Is Shorten running even? I don't even know if that guy's in it. But
When I think of Bill Shorten, I think of like a midget.
yeah, that works. I'm not. See, there's another thing. I'm having not being a witness, and we've got an election next month. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. I don't
Okay.
know how I'm voting. I don't really know who I'm going to vote for. I don't even like. I barely know anything about our politicians or our politics. Because I just never focused on it. When I did focus on politics, I was getting into American politics. So I could talk all day about American politics, couldn't say shit all about our politics.
Yeah.
And that's it. I've never voted, so I don't even know. Like, I'm going to be walking in so blind.
Well, what I'd suggest is just watch a whole lot of Friendly Geordies, because he's an Australian guy which talks a lot about politics, and he says this is going on. The Liberal government is selling all the assets and all that kind of stuff to their donors and all that. So yeah, he gives good information.
All right, I'll give that a look after.
Although he probably is a bit biased towards the Labor Party, but
Oh, look, everyone's going to have their own bias. You just got to be able to see through it.
One person says, "Is Planarwalk from New Zealand? Why does he have a South African accent?" Do I have? What?
No, you don't have a South African accent. But
I'm confused.
The South African accent is very similar to, because it's the colonial South African accent, of course.
Okay.
Very similar to our accent. And a lot of Australians will go to South Africa and pick up that little bit of the stronger accent of the South African side, and we generally can't tell the difference. Like they'll come back and you just wouldn't notice.
Oh, okay.
Because they are very, very similar.
Yeah, I have a bit of an accent in New Zealand even, which, you know, I often say that New Zealanders don't have an accent, but there is one part of New Zealand that does have an accent, which I've picked up, and it's unfortunate. So, you know, it's
You all have accents.
not
Same as us. We all have accents.
not most of New Zealand.
Americans.
Most of New Zealand is normal and doesn't have accents. It's the rest of the world that's crazy.
It's normal, right?
But yeah, there was also one thing that I was going to. Yeah, there was one thing that I was going to bring up as well, because as a New Zealander, there is one thing that I have to apologise to the rest of the world for on behalf of New Zealand.
I know where this is. Yeah, I think I know where this is going.
And I don't have a banana to represent it.
Wait. Can everyone can see me, so I'll be able to. Just give me a quick moment, and I will fix this dilemma. Not that it's a dilemma, but you know what I mean. I need pictures. I need my memes. I need my religion. Where's my banana picture? Come on, there it is.
Yep, and that's the person as well that I want to apologise on behalf of New Zealand for. And I believe there's one person from Australia that Australians don't like.
Oh, there's definitely one particular one that we're not a fan of.
Oh, is that evidence of the missing link that you got up on screen right there?
No, see, that's zero intelligence in the missing link, but the actual picture of the missing link, if you'll give me a quick second, is this one.
Okay, yep, same person by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's the evolution. See, you can the evolution from man to ape.
Yeah, you can actually see it so well in Ken Ham.
You can. God, that guy sucks.
Yeah. Well, I think when it comes to New Zealand, I'm ashamed to have Ray come from New Zealand, and I think Australians are ashamed to have Ken Ham come from Australia.
See, the beautiful thing is, I don't know how official it is for Ray, but with Ken, he was Australian. That's an important word. We kicked him out, and America happily accepted him. No give-backs. You know, like, they've got him, they accepted him, they said yes, they signed the papers, he's American now. And he fits in so well. I mean,
yeah.
Anyone in America tell me he doesn't fit in where he is. We're all going to get really angry Americans now.
Probably. I mean, one person says Ken Ham sucks. Can we hand him over to Delano TV? That guy has been asking for his balls being sucked over and over. So yeah, Delano TV can have Ken Ham.
Yeah. Like hashtag Spousy, hashtag Heathen, asking us how did we get rid of them? She
Taking notes.
Take notes. We you hold out a banana, and we held it over onto a boat or on a plane, and they just followed. That's what apes do. And then off they went, and they were gone. I mean, America, I'll admit, we did do a little bit of a dirty on you. Like, you guys accepted him thinking it was an ape for a zoo, and then he started talking, and then you realize he's actually stupider than an ape in a zoo, and so you gave him a goddamn theme park.
That's a very good description.
Sometimes I come up with some funny things, then other times I bomb. So.
Yeah, I do very well when it comes to my videos where it's all thought out. I mean, my videos, I don't have a script for them. I just sort of ad-lib them. But a lot of times it's thought out, and I'll go, yes, I'll make this joke before I start the video. I'll usually have a few jokes in mind. There'll be a couple of videos which I don't have any idea what I'm putting in for a joke. Like recent one that I did with Fight the Flat Earth, I had no idea what I was going to do for the jokes in that. But when it comes to things like if I make fun of anti-vaxxers, I know what kind of jokes that I'll shit. I mean, it's very easy to come up with jokes when you've got Karen. I mean, so vaccines are bad, and they have too many chemicals in them, so we've got to ban all the chemicals in vaccines forever.
That's awesome. Oh, far out.
And no Karen.
So this is I can only do vocal characters, and because I'm using a filter, it's really hard to do different voices. Like unless I'm actually literally changing the filter and stuff. In which case, then I don't know. I feel that's cheating. I kind of feel like that's not doing a voice, because I do theater and stuff, so I like actually doing voices, and none of them really come across through my filter, which is really disappointing.
Well, I actually want to get into voice acting a bit, and one voice acting sort of thing that I want to do is I want to sort of try and get an American accent for one particular character that I want to do. And so when it comes to that, it's because I find that when I did this one thing, I was playing it back the other day, and I noticed that it really sounded like me, even though I was trying to do kind of a bit of an American accent as well as change my voice a little bit, So
yeah, I remember I had to do an American accent for a role I did. No, I better not say what the role was, I suppose. But it was a presenter voice, and it was a very specific accent. And it wasn't even like, it was a southern accent. No, it was a very specific town of accent that I had to try and perfect. And I spent, I don't know, a month or so looking for YouTube videos to pick up on accents and town and time as well, because people now don't speak quite the same as they did 50 years ago. I spent ages trying to practice the accent, or as close as I could get to it. Then the day came for the performance. And it was a big, long, page and a half dialogue all in one. So there's a lot to get through. I got through a couple lines in a rough American accent, like it was not very good, and then I just fell out of it. It's one of the hardest accents. Some American accents are really comparatively easy because they're just, you put some certain strong changes in your tone in certain place, like somebody from the Bronx would have a certain tonal change as they speak, and you can kind of just go fly by wire. You can throw a little bit out there and it's enough. Whereas when you're going for a really specific one, you have to change every little piece of the way you talk, and it's so hard to maintain. It is so hard to maintain. Yeah. I'll stick with trying to do an English accent because that's hard enough for me.
Yeah, I find that. Although when it comes to a British accent, I generally go with the sort of I think it's Londoner or something.
Like a yeah.
Although there was one time where I did an English accent, and I kind of, because I find that it's very hard to sort of really regulate. So it's very easy to put too much of an accent on.
Like when people try and do a Scottish accent, they always go over the top. You think of Willie from, like that. It's just too much.
Yeah, and same with Irish accent as well.
Yep.
And but when it comes, there was one time when I think I did it well. I didn't try and overdo it. I just made it so that it was kind of standard. It's on a different. It's not on my channel. It's on someone else's channel. But when I hear someone says, "Don't you mean Del from the Sheds with Scottish over the top?" It's like, no. Uh, but yeah, I'm just trying to think of. There is not really an accent because I kind of like doing certain sort of characters. There's one character that I like singing as actually, and there's, "Hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play.
That was pretty good. That was
Look,
good.
if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever
God.
wanted."
Oh God, don't do that. No. I don't want to think of that when I listen to Eminem.
But then
Fuck the pig, you just hold on to the ears.
what?
Why? I don't know why I read that out. William Signs. Oh my goodness.
But then there's also a thing which I don't really try to do this very often, but I do try to do this if I'm ever trying to do something to do with Jordan Peterson. If I wanted,
Okay. Because I was thinking Kermit, but now it makes sense.
well, Jordan Peterson and Kermit aren't
Yeah,
the
I know.
exact same thing.
Yeah, I know that. Was great.
Yeah, because it's always fun to try and do Jordan Peterson. Because I know someone that can do a really good Jordan Peterson impression, and so if you get him on, you can get into. I remember him talking about saying your mum gay is a constant truth of, even if your mum isn't actually in a gay lesbian relationship, she still has the gayness.
God. It does sound weird coming from Kermit, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it would be.
I'll admit, I'm in somewhat bliss. I still do really well ignoring and not watching a lot of those sort of channels. The most I see of them is when other people are debunking them or doing a response video or something, and that's when I'll encounter them.
Yeah.
But I do not go looking for them. They're just too far out of my wheel, or not my wheel. Like, they're fun to play with. They're a fun toy, but they're not really what I'm going after. So I don't go searching for them.
Yeah.
Let them come and find me.
Yeah, Red Venture says Ocean Keltoy does a good JBP. Jordan Peterson. And yeah, I agree. That's actually one of the people that, if you want to get to do Jordan Peterson, you need to ring up Ocean and pay him a few dollars. And I'm sure
He's a
he'll.
talented dude, though.
Yeah. He's actually the person that went on about your mum gay being a fundamental truth of reality. But yeah, it's always fun to do those kind of things, especially when Jordan Peterson himself has actually embraced the Kermit meme. I think so. Wait, is Jordan Peterson's middle name actually Burnt?
I wouldn't. Really? I had to see who wrote it, because if it was someone like, I don't know, Doorknob Head, then it'd be more than likely a joke. But Charisma, that's probably true.
Yeah, and Pure Ostension says Stewie voice. I haven't really tried doing a Stewie voice.
That's go-to for Jimmy, though.
Yeah, I actually want to try and get him on here one day, because I've been watching him for ages.
Yeah, I remember way back when Jimmy was just starting out. Yeah. Have you seen that roast of mine and his?
No, I don't.
He is, or I don't know if he still is, but he was so proud of the fact that he beat me. He was the only person in the entire roast to beat me.
Okay.
And that was it was like, I was just entering. Like, it was the first one. I didn't know really even who Jimmy was on, basically.
Yeah.
And so I came in soft, I'll admit, and he did a good job. Whereas I somehow managed to win a consolation entry for the next round, and then nobody else won, and I beat everybody because I'm like, fuck that, I'm not letting somebody else win. And so, because then I won the whole competition, Jimmy walks around going, yeah, but I beat him. That motherfucker, take me on again, and he won't. He refuses to.
Yeah, when it comes to Mr. Atheist, I reckon I remember finding out about him when he had something like 2,000 subscribers. At least I think that was the amount that he had. And I was thinking, at that time, I still had the mindset of, because I think I had about 400 subscribers, so I was like, just an itty bitty create. Wait, what the fuck?
What happened?
I just noticed that the live stream had a bit of buffer. But when it came to me, I had 400 subscribers, so I was an itty bitty, and I was pretty much going, I'm so small as a creator, and every YouTuber I find is, has so many more subscribers than me. But then that's kind of when you do gaming for so long, that's the way it is in a lot of the gaming communities. It's, this person has 2,000 subscribers, so they're way better than this person with 1,000 subscribers. So, it's one of them things which, when you go to different communities, like the community that I'm in now is way better because, it doesn't matter that I mean, you've got 1,400 if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
And I've got 3,000, and not to flex or anything.
Sure, mate, sure.
But I'll have you on because to me it doesn't matter anymore whether it's because I've done collabs with Conspiracy Cats, and I've been on Simon Dan's channel, so and I do find it hard to find people with less subscribers than you, especially when you've got something like 3,000 subscribers. It's very hard to find someone with something like 200. But there are those people that do exist. And,
Well, you got to actively go out of your way to search for them. Because that's something I'll do every now and then. I'll go out of my way to go through my friends' the YouTubers that I follow that I know are the ones that I've already sort of shouted out that are somewhat smaller. They know people that I don't know. They watch channels so I'll check out what they watch, and then eventually you'll find small channels that are like really good, just underappreciated, and you can give them a shout out or have them on or whatever you need to.
Definitely, like I don't think I have to go out of my way all the time. Especially when it comes to my thing that I do once a month where I say channel of the month, and I'll often have a couple of channels which I'm considering. But last month I was actually thinking about it. I was thinking, okay, I need a channel of the month, and I was thinking about it, and then I remembered AB Science is a good channel. So I gave him a shout out, and I don't think many people check out the channel of the month though, unfortunately, which is really unfortunate. The 3 channels of the month I've had is Flat Out, Radical, and AB Science. And AB Science is the smaller of the 3.
It's a similar reach, I suppose you'd say, as, the way I'll have a secret link in my description where people can check it out and see who gets a shout out. But a couple people click it maybe, and then you might get one person that will actually subscribe from that. To actually do something good for a smaller channel, you usually, depending on what this sort of channel does, of course, but usually it's, you do a double collab, something that works for both channels that will reach both audiences, but mainly so that you give the bigger audience a chance to experience a little bit of like a taste test of what the little channel does. And that generally is the way that a lot more subs will flow.
Yeah, whenever I do a collab, I find that the best way to go about it, because I recently did a collaboration with Fight the Flat Earth, and that did work out well for me, and I'm sure I helped him in a way, but I usually feel as though when I do collabs with these bigger channels, that most of our audiences are probably the same, so I probably don't have as much of an impact on his sub count as he does on mine. But it's always good to sort of do a collaboration with a bigger channel, and that way you can have more people flow to your channel and more people flow to their channel, and people find out about you. You know.
Yeah.
And
Well, ultimately, that's how I got started. I got very, very lucky. I sort of did a video shouting out everyone that at the time I'd been all the channels I'd been watching that sort of broke me out of my God thinking, and
yeah.
I did a direct shout out to them all, and they all shared that out, and gave a thanks and all that, and it made all the difference. Like, the one person that I always credit first is Shannon,
Oh,
because
okay.
she was one of the first people to share me around in the community, and then all of a sudden everyone's going, hey, how you doing? Doing the meet and greet, but it's like they stuck around. It wasn't just, hey, how you doing? Oh, you're somebody new, bye. It was, hey, this is really cool. I want to be here, and like a lot of the people are still here in the chat now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um,
Although
yeah,
the
that sort of thing
Kitsune
makes a big difference. She
Cavalier
was less
says,
than 1,000 subs at that point too.
yeah.
So
The Kitsune Cavalier says, or you can wait for your chill check and buy subscribers, and there's always that option. But
I have resigned my fate to never getting a YouTube shill check. That won't happen for me. I know that.
I don't mind. You see, a lot of people, they say, okay, I'll never sort of try and make money off YouTube, and that's fine. If you don't want to make money off YouTube, that's fine. That's up to you. But me, I like being able to have a little. What?
That ain't what I said. I'm happy to make money off YouTube. I know they won't give me money. Even
Okay.
John Cedars is getting demonetized. I mean,
Oh,
on
really?
some of the most, yeah. He did a video just the other day, just talking to the camera, friendly, saying like how how he told his daughter about the bad man that he's going to America to stop. And he just very simple child language, nothing direct and it was just a sweet message, and him about him going like, how do you tell your kids about this sort of stuff? That's all it was about, and that got demonetized.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
My recent video actually got demonetized because it was talking about the Notre Dame fires, and I could try and appeal it, but I don't think it would get appealed. I think that it's one of them things which
So
was.
Why?
Apparently,
Because
it's
that's just a current
controversial.
news story.
Apparently, it's because of controversial content. I mean, I could try and get it, but I wouldn't make much money anyway. And
No, that's the other thing. You don't really make a lot on AdSense until you've got huge viewer base. And
oh, definitely.
it's all right if you make a couple bucks. I think, what is it, Cirrus? I think he said he made a couple hundred or something there with all of his, and if it'll be something in the bank, sure, but it's not like it's going to pay your way to riches without going really viral, like proper viral.
Yeah. And it'd be nice to go viral, but, it's like there's been people like Simon, Dan, and Wolfie6020 that have gone viral. And it'd be nice to go viral like that, but, I don't. I mean, I'd like to be able to make a living off YouTube, but, if I'm even just making videos which people enjoy is fulfilling to me.
I think the difference with what I do is that I have an explicit intent to get my message out to the biggest, widest audience I can. And unfortunately on YouTube, that is tied in with monetization, because when you get that's when YouTube push your content a lot more, than they would have.
I think when it comes to one of my videos, the video that did the best ever to this point has done the best, and that was a video where I essentially put Simon Dan in the title, so that's probably why it did so well.
Clickbait.
I mean, it worked. It actually worked for 800 views one time, and the time that I did it most recently, it worked for 14,000 views. So either way,
1,000. Nice.
But either way, it worked. And essentially, I think it is probably because, as you said, it's more clickbait than. But I do feel like if you put clickbait, you have a responsibility to talk about the thing that you are actually clickbaiting about.
No, of course. There's two different types of clickbait where it is you're putting up something lewd, crude, or obtuse in any way that is not related to the subject matter at hand, or it's something that is still rude, crude, controversial, obtuse, whatever, that is actually related. You know, like you can. I mean, not what you can, but like it would make more sense to have that image of him when he's in the video, or if he's the main topic of the video, as opposed to throwing a picture of him because at one point through the video you quickly mention his name. You know what I mean? That would be the difference between something egregious and just you're doing a good clickbait image, basically.
Yeah, and
it's kind of hard to say that. Good clickbait. That's what porn is.
True. For the first video I did on Simon Dan, I essentially thought, okay, so people are complaining about Simon Dan buying subs, so I'll talk about that. And one of the things that I actually did first off was I came up with a really good intro, and to this day it's actually one of my favorite intros, and that was where I said, "Ahoy hoy, I'm Alexa Jonas, and I don't like that they're putting chemicals in the frogs that's turning the water gay."
Nice spin on it.
Yeah, and since then I've done variations on that. Like I've done one. I even take these maps here sometimes and just bang them against my desk. So I'll go, "I don't like that they're putting water in the frogs that's turning the chemicals gay."
They're cool. Oh.
So
well,
yeah.
Actually, I want to. Somebody's leaving. Who's leaving?
Apparently, it's General E Shady. And he says, "Unsubs out. Sorry, your content is getting worse."
Sucks to be you, General.
And it's. I generally make the content that I want to more than I make the content to please people. Sometimes I will put in a bit to please people if people keep on requesting it, but I don't generally try to force things into my videos when I don't want to.
Well, at the end of the day, yeah, if you want to be doing this, if it's something you're doing, you want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't enjoy it, you're just going to drive yourself nuts, and you're not going to end up, you're not going to continue doing it. And
exactly.
So you've got to put out stuff that even if you're going to criticize, sure, but you've at least got to enjoy the process. You've got to be having fun doing it, because otherwise there's no real point doing it in the first place. Like especially with what you're doing, like it's kind of meant to be just fun and your expression of yourself.
A lot of people, when I first did a video, I think it was on vaccines, there were a couple of people that said, "We don't like this new style," because it was kind of a different style in a way to the content that I usually made. It was more, it was far more jokey, but at the same time it did also make points. So essentially what it was is me going, me putting on this wig and being Karen, and then me responding to Karen, because it's much funnier to respond to a character that you've made up than it is to respond to someone that takes it seriously.
It's very true, and there is a market for that. How big it is, I don't know, but because I know that there's a few people that have their own characters like that, where whether they'll argue with each other or not, but where they'll play the opposite side and be very outrageous doing it.
Yeah.
You know, who is it? Stags has got one with Emmett. Black Sofa, can't remember Black Sofa's character name, but God, it's funny as hell though.
Yeah.
Show you actually. Where is it? Creators. This is Black Sofa. I can't remember the name of this character, but he's just hilarious. He's like a flirt for idiot. Basically.
Okay.
Not Black Sofa himself, the character. Black Sofa
Yeah.
also.
Right,
I want to make that clear.
like Karen, she's not a flat earther, but she is an anti-vaxxer. Should probably actually call flat earthers fucking idiots, like Team Skeptic does, but she hasn't fallen down that rabbit hole. Because, even though there are a lot of people that believe in flat earth, that believe in every other conspiracy under the sun, not every person that believes in every other conspiracy under the sun believes in the earth being flat.
Yeah, no. And, there's a lot of exclusivity to it, where people are, one or the other, and then there's a lot of people that just believe whatever the hell they hear.
Yeah. So when it comes to Karen, I do like that character, and I don't know if I'd be able to make a character quite as entertaining, because it's not so much Karen that's entertaining. It's my responses to Karen. At least that's the way that I see it. Karen, I'll make her say some stupid shit, and then I'll just respond with something like, don't bring your unvaccinated, measles-ridden sperm mutants around other people's kids,
Yeah.
I still like that line. And when it comes to... I think I heard one person say a while back that, imagine if Guardians of the Galaxy was every character being Drax. People would think that that's entertaining, but in reality, it might not be as entertaining as people think it would be. I think it would still be entertaining, but...
No, because, you could have little setup gags and stuff, but that wouldn't run a whole movie. You wouldn't find it funny by the end. You'd probably have people just walking out halfway through, to be honest.
Yeah. So
you need the difference in characters for any form of story development, like any character development. So Drax wouldn't be Drax without the other characters.
Yeah. And that is a Christmas said Guardians of the Galaxy, but every character is Groot. That would be entertaining as like a skit.
Yeah, that could, because it'd have to be shortened form. That could be really good. I couldn't get through a whole movie of that.
Yeah, it's like, I am Groot. I'm Groot. You wouldn't know what the fuck is going on. Oh, pure
animated it really well. You might be able to, because it'd be the same as watching a movie about animals that had no vocal voiceovers. The ones that would just follow the animals themselves. And, it'd be using music, it would be using emotion on the faces, you know what I mean? And expression in the bodies to get the message across. That would be actually interesting. That might be a worthwhile film.
Yeah. I find it very interesting. Like, I've recently been finding out about all these kinds of things, like character arcs, and I kind of do understand character arcs, but I'm more of a person that likes to think of the overarching story. And,
well, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You can't do one without doing the other. You just got a shit story.
But I do...
You can take your characters through any scenario, but if they don't have any growth, you'll get to the end going, well, nothing happened. That was pointless,
Yeah.
Because your audience connects with the characters, not the stories. The story is just the journey.
Yeah. I suppose that's why, as lore-filled as Dark Souls is, it doesn't... A lot of people don't feel like it has much story. Because I believe that Dark Souls has a lot of lore, but no story. At least from what I've heard. I haven't gotten past one of the first bosses of Dark Souls. So.
I won't lie, it's a game with such high praise, yet I've never had it, never owned it. And,
I have it.
But yeah, it's just gaming is a different thing for me nowadays.
Yeah, I have Dark Souls remastered, but I haven't made it far.
But
Because
is it for a lack of trying, or is it for getting killed over and over and over and over and over?
it's getting killed over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, yeah. No, well, that's a worthy reason. That's a good reason. If it was just lack of trying, then that's pretty lame. And that's my reason. See, lack of trying is my reason. It's pretty lame. I
Yeah.
haven't gotten around to it. I'll get there one day. I'll probably buy it just as the computers change around. Something in the computers change so that I can't play it anymore. That'll be what happens.
Yeah, I've got it on PlayStation 4, so I can't really use that excuse.
I had a PlayStation 4 for about a week. I got given it with my phone deal. Like, I got a phone deal where I paid less for the deal than I was, and they gave me a PlayStation 4. And
Oh,
I was like,
nice.
nice. I hate consoles. I can't do the controllers, and I'm learning myself one. I'm slowly trying to learn myself a controller, but I'm no good at them.
Yeah.
And so my thought, they hadn't even given it to me yet, and I'm like, can I sell it? Is there any law or something that says I can't just sell it? And she's like, I'll check. She checks. Yeah, you can sell it. I'm like, sweet. I'm basically, fuck, okay. So I did. I sold it. Sold it for cheap because, it was a mate, and I thought, well, I got it for free. I'm not going to rip him off. So.
Yeah. I grew up on consoles, so particularly PlayStation controllers. Xbox controllers still feel a bit weird to me. But when it comes to a PlayStation controller, it's nice and easy to use for me. So that's why I use that. But when it comes to speaking of phones, there is one thing that I heard recently, and I wish they had have had this in Australia when I went over there. And that is here in New Zealand, they've just released this thing, $40 per person per month, unlimited internet on your phone.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's not too far off what I'm currently paying as well. So
Yeah.
I get perks.
Although you do have to have 4 people.
Yeah, it's doable though. I mean, it's like a family package sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if I was over in Australia, just say I had to go back over to Australia with the people that I went with last time, there were about 10 people, so I probably could have gotten a group of 4 and been like, can we get this deal here? Because, it's unlimited internet, but to be fair, after I think it's after about 40 gigs, it gets dropped down in speed. But
40 gigs isn't very much.
Yeah, but when it's your phone, you probably want to connect it more to.
Oh yeah, just their phone.
Yeah. Although to be fair, in Australia, your internet is shit.
Yeah, I know. And they're going to do an upgrade which will make it apparently a little less shit in some areas and a little more shit in other areas. So, but apparently the uploads will get a lot better, and that'll help me.
Oh
So
yeah.
that means I'll get to upload a lot better.
Yeah, I went to a holiday park, and that was the worst internet I have ever experienced in my life.
Oh, places like that. Yeah, nah, yeah, nah. You think they give a shit enough to pay for stuff like that? Like,
I mean, it was so shit that it was that I couldn't even access Pornhub.
that's pretty sad. I've experienced though. I did traveling photography where it was before basically we had broadband was the big deal, and that was when it was like, I don't know, maybe the second round of broadband, or because I can't remember exactly how fast the main internet was, but I had to go around with a laptop for my photography, and I had to connect everywhere, no matter where I was. So I had one of those stupid little Telstra USB things, modem things, whatever, that connect you into the internet. It is so goddamn slow. Like, I wanted to kill myself. It was that slow. It was that slow. Like, they didn't want you to send your digital images over online. You had to send them by mail. You couldn't send your photography just quickly. You had to snail mail it back to Brisbane, no matter where you were in Australia. Yeah.
Oh,
jeez. That's how bad it
jeez.
was. All we could use that internet for was just upload like minor data files.
Yeah.
That was all you could use it for, and even then, it would take forever.
I
So if we wanted to like check MySpace or whatever, which was what was back then, you couldn't. Like it sucked. Let alone porn.
yeah, if
I
I
was lucky though. I was traveling with a makeup girl that would help, and we found ways to get around it.
when it comes to my phone, this has had, I think, about 3 different. Okay, someone said I've got all the keyblades. I don't know why, but when it comes to this phone, this has had 3 different SIM cards in it. The first one is a 2 degree SIM card that's in New Zealand. When I was in Australia, I put in a Telstra SIM card, and that worked fine. I was getting quite a bit of data, like 10 gigabytes a month, but the problem is that went down to 2.5 gigabytes after like a month, and I generally used more than the full 10, right? So that was shit. So I switched to Optus, and by God, did I experience a drop in speed.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're all using, for the most part, the same infrastructure. So
Yeah.
you basically you get throttled by going to third-party companies.
Yes.
Usually, anyway.
Yeah. So that's why I like Australia as a place, especially in the winter. But by God, you've got to fix your internet, dude.
Yeah, and that's actually not looking good. They've spent however many billions of dollars on the NBN, and there are some advantages. Like as I said, apparently my upload speed's going to get better, but overall, it's a ginormous waste of money because it's all an old. It's all an old setup. Like they didn't want to fork out more money to make it the latest greatest shit, and so we're just getting stuck with a second rate internet connection that's being sold to us as something really good, but everyone else is like, it still sucks. And then a year later, it's basically going to be, useless. It's limited by its what it can do, and the actual companies around the world are upgrading a lot faster, and we just haven't kept up by choice, which is annoying. I mean, a little bit of it is the size of the country. It's a lot of money to get that happening, but it's still a lot by choice.
And Charisma asks, "Hey, NotJah, is it true that your electricity runs on Vegemite?"
Yes, we'll go with yes. I had to think about that for a second, but I'm like, yeah, that's right. When I plug the thing into the wall and I pull it out, there's Vegemite on the end. So yeah, it must be yes.
Yeah, there's so many great memes about Australia and New Zealand because nobody really knows about about it.
I do like some of the what are the fucking, not theories? What are they? God, my brain is having a blank. Crazy ideas, that people have about Australia, especially like how dangerous it is, and the drop bears one.
Yeah, the
really
drop bears.
fun.
I almost got attacked by one of them.
Yeah, well, people really are surprised when I'm like, they're a real thing, and they're fucking scary. I mean, this is what I was explaining to a mate just the other day. He was blown away, like, cause he'd just heard of them, but he's like, what the hell? Like, is it like a grizzly bear that drops from the sky? Like, he had no idea. I had to explain it to him.
It's like a koala.
But I'm like, it's like a giant koala that drops from the trees, but it's vicious as fuck. Like, we had Steve Irwin, Crocodile Hunter.
Yeah.
He wasn't Steve Irwin, the drop bear hunter, was he? No, because drop bears are vicious. You don't mess with them. When a drop bear falls on you, you're done. There's no, kick it in the snout or poke it in its eyeball. You're done. Like, those things will take down a fully grown crocodile, don't you know?
Yeah, there's actually if you go to, I think it's the Australian Museum website or something, there is actually an article there on drop bears. You can go look this up. Yeah.
I don't believe you. Where is it?
I'll try and find it. It's
yeah, link us in the chat because I want to see that. That's awesome. Oh,
Drop Beer's Australian Museum. Yeah, so if you go to
the rabies.
australianmuseum.net.au/learn/animals, yeah, there's a thing on Drop Beers.
Dropbear.com.
And scientific name, Thylactos plummetus.
Plummeted. That's great.
I just put it in the chat there.
Thank you. I'll check this out.
There's all...
No, I can't believe that.
Yeah, it's got things like...
oh god, look at the map. That's ridiculous. The size of a leopard, a very large...
Yeah, shit,
they've gone all out.
Yeah, it says breeding behaviours, danger to humans, and it says bushwalkers have known to be dropped on by drop bears, resulting in injury, mainly lacerations and occasionally bites. Most attacks are considered accidental, and there are no reports of incidents being fatal.
Yeah, it's because we're not so stupid as to let them kill us. We fucking drop and roll and run.
Yeah, and it says there are some suggested folk remedies that are said to act as repellent to drop bears. These include having forks in the hair or Vegemite or toothpaste spread behind the ears. There's no evidence that any such repellents work.
Oh, that's brilliant. I did not know that they did that. That's awesome. Good on them.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I
It
read
is
it on Twitter. That's so good.
Yeah. I actually found that...
Why Twitter? I hate this new Twitter. God damn it, Twitter. I want to kill you. Just take me to the top.
What's this thing about... Oh, is it just the thing that when you want to post something like new, I often go onto Twitter and it will be on my phone, it'll be there and I'll be like 2 months back and I'll scroll up and I'll just be scrolling up for a good few minutes trying to get to the top to see what the latest posts are.
Well, even if you hit the home button on like the phone, for example, it'll take you to the top and then it'll refresh. And then you've still got to do it again to get to the top again.
Yeah.
And now they've forced my Twitter on the computer to change over to the version that's compatible to the phone. It's their new thing they're rolling out. I was able to go back to the classic version, but they've taken that option away from me. And it really pisses me off because for everything, it takes so many more clicks than it did before. Like, whereas before you'd go into Twitter, you'd immediately be at the top of the homepage. You know, like you could write a tweet straight away. Whereas now I have to click home a couple of times. Then I went to click on the friggin' thing and a bunch of more tweets came in. So it clicked on one of the tweets. And I'm like, that's not what I'm fucking trying to do. Like, it's really bad. And I think it's because it's trying to do a constant refresh. And so it if you go to click something, it might refresh out from under you. It's annoying me. I'm not happy with it. And GIFs are another thing, or GIFs. I don't give a fuck.
That's GIFs.
But good. And like before, it was just you hit the GIF button thing, and you start typing, and it will start doing an automatic search of the GIFs. Whereas now you click it, you have to then click the search bar within GIFs. You type your thing, you have to hit enter. Then it does its search, and then to add it, you click the picture. You have to click add, then escape out of all the different GIF friggin' things that are open. And it goes back into your actual comment. It's like, why would you complicate it so much? That's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm a little pissed at Twitter now.
Yeah. Team Skeptic says, NotJah's hair looks so flowing.
Oh, did I look away and then Team Skeptic rocked up? Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah. Can put geez, my computer's seeming to go slow for some reason. I'll post that in the
to Australian internet.
could be, but even just when I click on something.
Oh well, yeah, I'm giving you an out, man. Come on.
I think it just might be because of all the tabs that I've got open. Because sometimes I joke about having a lot of tabs open, but most of the time I actually do have a lot of tabs open.
What do you call a lot? Like, I remember back in the day when the tabs wouldn't resize themselves and you could layer the tabs. Like, you'd have different, instead, if you had 20 tabs open, instead of squishing them all into one line at the top, they would become 2 lines, and then 3 lines, and then. Do you remember that?
I remember something like that on Internet Explorer.
That's what I think. It might have been one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was the toolbars, and eventually, if you installed enough programs, you'd have more space on the screen being filled up with toolbars than you would actually be able.
Yeah, I remember that with the toolbars too. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh god, that was a bad program.
Yeah, but when it comes to I use Google Chrome now, and because Google Chrome, well, both Google Chrome and Firefox work, but with Google Chrome you can have more tabs open that are easily accessible. So that's why I like Google Chrome. But sometimes you got to use Firefox, and Firefox doesn't have all my browsing history, so that's useful to use.
Yeah, it comes in handy.
So when it comes to tabs, I've always got a lot of tabs open, and I sometimes joke about being a high IQ skeptic because I've got so many tabs open. But the thing is, I do have a lot of tabs open, so yeah, I'm not really joking when I say that I'm a high IQ skeptic. So
I don't know, that saying you have a lot of tabs open could also mean that you're just a heavy drinker at the pub.
That is a good point. Purple rhymes with orange.
I am your father.
Yeah.
Planarwalk. I am your father.
That's actually a very good impression of the whole.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it's a good impression. I mean, technically,
Thank
you do have a voice thing on, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm assuming.
In real life.
In real life, I sound like this.
Oh yeah, I mean, clearly.
Of course.
Yeah. Because I do understand people not wanting to, people to know who they are, and some people do have issue with that, but I don't. I mean, if you don't want people,
That's fair enough. No, I mean, not everybody has.
Are you still there?
I should be, yeah.
Yeah, I think you cut out for a bit there.
Oh, I was just saying, not everybody really has a reason to. Like for a lot of people, there's no necessity to keeping anonymous, so it doesn't matter.
Like,
and there's no worry to it. Whereas, like for me, I can't contemplate that. It's something that would put my, not really in danger. It sounds too much, but I'd be in a very bad position.
Yeah, like for me, I keep I keep where I am private. I try not to let people know that I'm in Blenheim, because if people were to know that, fuck.
Yeah, right. But most, as you said, your audience is mostly UK and then maybe America. They ain't gonna know where the hell that is. Like, and even if the best they can do, they'll Google it, and then what? Like,
Yeah, I mean, at worst, I think Mark Sargent is actually in New Zealand today. God help us all. And I think because they're having the Flat Earth conference today and tomorrow. But
really, unlucky.
Oh, someone says, weird, Google Earth does not find Blenheim. My accent. But yeah, well, I mean, sure, they might try and find me, but I don't think as I said, I don't think they're going to travel to Blenheim to try and find me,
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean...
And even if they did, I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to leave shit on my doorstep? I doubt it.
What would it be? It'd be like anti-vaxxers and flat-tards. What would they leave? Flat Earth models and herbal remedies.
Essential oils. That's what they...
Essential oils, of course.
Yeah. I actually...
God,
I was actually at the store the other day and I saw some saw some washing powder that apparently had essential oils in it.
Why and what what does it even mean? So this is the problem with things on labels, like for marketing. It's marketing. Like there's so much that you can twist basically in your wording, and so for that it sounds like it's just not a it's just something to throw out at people that find that as a like, not a trigger word. What's the opposite? Where they like they see it and that's catchy, and then they're attracted by it. You know, like, so there are people that are into that sort of shit will see it and go, "Ooh, I'm going to buy this brand." You know, when the essential oils could like be olive oil or some bullshit. Who fucking knows? Who cares?
On Christmas says essential oils make great lubrication, and I wonder if anyone is selling essential oils as lube. That'd be funny to know.
It would have happened. Those crazy, kinky, anti-vaxxers.
Oh, Nadine got right, a gimmick.
Hey, Nadine.
And she says her skin is itching already. I assume you're female. I am assuming your gender, but you know.
Nadine she's with Pheasant Josiah, who I mentioned earlier for the Ninja Turtles question.
Okay.
So Nadine, is Josiah awake? We were asked the Ninja Turtles question, and I've been holding off until he shows up. So, oh wait, can he be online, or is he still off? Oh my god! Oh no! I hope he's back, because oh no. Because I might have been waiting this whole time and he can't even come and say hello. That will make me sad.
Yeah, I don't quite know about this person, so.
Yeah, you're like, I don't give a shit. He's cool. He's our friendly pheasant, and Nadine's our friendly pheasant fucker.
Yeah.
Hey, that was accurate.
Yeah, as I said, I don't know about this person, so it's very hard.
They're like my two besties.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very bad with names anyway, you know. Sometimes I'm actually bad with faces. Like, someone will be like, oh, this person here, and it's, okay, I don't know who that is. But then sometimes I'll realize, because Simon and Dan put out a video the other day, and I was like, that's the person that believed all that OSI stuff.
Man.
And you probably don't know about
Spell it out. I was going to say, spell it out for me.
That was that document that I mentioned about earlier, which said that I was a paid shill.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard to keep up sometimes. I haven't watched every.
I mean, I only consider people a true fan if they've watched every single video, all 400 of them. It's actually 490 or something of my videos that I've got. So I've got 490 something videos. You got to watch every single one of them, even all the streams. So that's probably quite a few hours of content, to be honest.
It would take a while, a couple days. I do like what Team Skeptic said. Use coconut oil. No lie, it smells good, extra slick, and it'll be easier for her to take it in. Or just to take it. I added the in.
I mean, I'm not a big, because I've been using coconut. Team Skeptic said, "What about all of us that have seen your videos twice, like me?" I mean, yeah, that means that you're an extra fan.
I would say get a life. I mean,
I mean, wouldn't you say get a life and watch your content?
Yeah, exactly. Come on. Good save.
I'm sometimes really good with saves. I think there was something the other day which was a good save. I can't remember what it was, but it's always annoying when you say something really good and it isn't recorded. So
that is actually frustrating. Yes, I did a thing. We were doing a recording the other day for a video I'm doing, and me and Germ, and made a big deal about, setting up the recording. We did the first scene. It was great. And then I stopped recording because, like, I was intending on not recording all the bullshit between and then just start recording when we're ready to do the next scene. I forgot to start recording again, of course, until we finished that next scene. Like, motherfucker. Like, it was such a good take, too. It was like we were on a roll. Beautiful take. It was all right. We still did good after that anyway, but just one of those moments,
Yeah.
Hey, Josiah showed up. Yay! do.
So is he the person that can ask the question?
Yeah. Do you have a question for us? Oh, God.
Well,
I had to hold out for you, Josiah. I literally, we stopped the show for like an hour and talked about other things just because we had to not answer this question until you showed up.
Yeah. When it comes to, I'm waiting for him to ask the question, right? Because he's got to be the one to ask it,
He's got to be the
One thing that I've got to do sometime in the future is I'm actually going to record a second high IQ skeptic video, right? And
Okay.
I've got
Does this mean I should watch the first one?
I mean, yeah, people did enjoy the first one. But I'm actually going to
go and check it out.
I'm actually going to have soda cans in this next one, and I'm hoping that I can, because quite often I'll re-record things, and so if I open up a can, and I've got to make sure that when I open up the can, I do a good take every time. So it's going to be annoying if I get it wrong. One thing that was annoying was when I had this sort of thing where I got vaccinated. I was supposedly getting a vaccine, and the amount of takes that took, because never with them oral vaccines put it up against your skin and then try to do it that way, because it'll be like I'm just trying to work out an accurate thing to describe this. It'll be like if you've got a water gun, it'll squirt out like that. Okay, there we go. So who's his favorite Ninja Turtle?
No, I've got a good year on me now that I should have properly prepared an answer for this question, but I haven't. Michelangelo.
I'm just gonna go yes.
Don't say you don't know the Ninja Turtle.
I don't know.
You know.
I don't know the names of all the Ninja Turtles. Like I can't associate any of the colors with any of the Ninja Turtles. All I know is that there's a rat that trained them.
Did you ever watch them as a kid, or was it? I mean, I don't even know how old. I don't know if they were like a thing on TV. So
I watched the movie as a kid. I don't know if that counts.
okay.
I can't remember.
I don't know. It should, sort of. Wait, is it that new movie, or relatively new movie, or the like older movie?
The older
Isn't there
movie.
an older movie?
Yeah, there was an older
Pretty
movie
sure
that I
there was
went to
an
see
older
in
one.
this in the cinemas.
So I thought I remember seeing an older one too. And I used to watch it on TV all the time. Oh, we got all the guesses now. Leonardo, Donatello, Charisma, Splinter, Raphael, Leonardo, yay.
Splinter was the master. I think Splinter does look pretty cool. Splinter is the rat. It's a rat master.
Oh, well, that was is it Kitsune Cavalier? God damn, I'm having a hard time. Jim Henson did the movies in the 80s. That would probably explain why they were good.
Actually, I have to actually agree with pure ostension. Kermit is the best Ninja Turtle. I mean, Kermit's not even a turtle, but a frog.
Not even a turtle. All right. That frog taking over a turtle shell. Nobody will know the difference.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Kermit does... I mean, he could pass as a Ninja Turtle.
He could, yeah. Definitely. He's got that same wide mouth.
Yeah. Groot is best Ninja Turtle. I mean, yeah. And people are going on about the NES game, but I have never owned an NES.
No, neither did I.
The oldest.
I had a Master System and a Mega Drive. They were the two that I had.
I think the oldest console that I had was either a Sega Saturn or a PlayStation 1, whichever one came first. I think it might have been the Sega Saturn, but...
Probably, possibly, but I don't know exactly. Oh, you're getting called out for being too young.
God damn it. I mean, whenever I grow this, people are like, grow this out a bit, people are like, you don't look good with a beard, but, whenever I shave it off, it's like, you look like you're 15 or some shit like that. It's like,
No, actually, at the right angle, you remind me of Heath. You know Heath?
oh, yeah. Yes.
You have a very strange resemblance to him. And it's kind of odd because I kind of look somewhat similar too.
It looks like you look similar to Heath when he had his hair grown out long.
Yeah, and strangely enough, I don't have long hair anymore, so just haven't really got a short-haired avatar because everyone knows me as that avatar. And it costs money to get those things made. I ain't no millionaire. Become a patron and help me get a new avatar. And subscribe while you're at it. I may as well show myself.
Yeah. What I'd actually like is I'd like someone to... so if anyone watching is good at drawing, if you can draw me a new avatar, that would be great,
You're just going for the fan art thing, aren't you? I mean, I'm always keen to take free fan art. That's the way. I've even got a place on my Discord just for it. Throw down your fan art.
Yeah. So when it comes to the current one that I've got, and this is actually the... So if I go to the opening screen, you'll be able to see the... on OBS, you'll be able to see the thing on the right-hand side. It kind of looks like I'm somewhat annoyed. And I'm like, I want to look happier because I am a happy person. Sure, I get annoyed at flat arts, but, who doesn't? But at least they've got the whole thing that I quite often do, especially when debating. I often do this, so... I mean, I'll probably keep it for debating, but,
Just got to mute for a second.
What? So, yeah, if anyone wants to draw me, feel free to, please.
Yeah, I'm back-ish. Every now and then, I might have to be careful.
Why is that?
People down here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in a flat, but, most of them know what I do, so... They'll often be like, Nikki's a flat earther. It's like,
Imagine you were living with a bunch of flat earthers.
no, I don't live with a bunch of flat earthers. The people that I live with, they're all good, so... Wait, Professor Stick has already done that for you? Wait, what? What has Professor Stick done for me? I'm confused. I want Pine Snake to answer the thing. But yeah. And also, if people have any ideas of guests to come on, that's always a good idea because I sometimes have no idea who I want to bring on. But yeah, anyway, I think didn't you say that you had something?
Curious. Yeah, I'm curious too to know what Pine Snake meant.
Yeah.
If you've got if that was to do with the fan art or something, it'd be interesting if you've got a little stick figure man, version of yourself.
I mean, there's Heath's profile picture.
Oh, right, drawn a picture of you, of course, but it could be mistaken for Muhammad, though.
True. But, because me and Heath pretty much look the same, we can essentially use the same...
the same kind of...
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, just steal his, make the hair go the other way, it'd be fine.
Yeah. Although, on my profile picture for the one that unlike me, Drew, I believe the hair is actually now going the wrong way on that as well, because it was based on an old profile picture that I used, where the hair was going the way I had it back then, but I switched the way that the hair was going. I think it was the hairdressers, they switched the way that it was going. And I didn't mind, because my crown is right here, so it's actually supposed to go that way. But,
Yeah.
either way it works. But anyway, didn't you have something that you had to go to, or?
Not in a hurry. What is it? Leah show. We're doing an interview, which is, I just can't even remember who we're interviewing at the moment.
And
I don't really do I just make the show run and then sit back and watch for the most part.
Yeah.
Where are we? But it's not on for a couple of hours still.
And Validation Boy asked me, am I going to the New Zealand Flat Earth Conference? And nah, it's a bit...
Oh, that's who it was.
It's a bit pricey to go, because you got to buy tickets and all that. But I will be trying to go to the one in Dallas. So,
So it's interviewing Katie from Without a Crystal Ball.
Okay.
That'll be interesting.
I actually want to try and eventually do this thing where I talk to one of the how there's all these psychics around that claim that they can speak to dead relatives. I'd like to speak.
That'd be interesting.
I'd like to speak to one of them, and I'd use a name that I'm associated with that you can't find anything about online.
Yeah.
Because I believe this.
Safe way to do it.
I believe this person, what they'd probably do is they'd probably look up online to try and find who your relatives are, and then they would, use that to say, "Oh, I've connected with your Aunt Graham," or something.
Yeah, you try and do it. The better way to do it is actually set that person up with a character story, have its own fake, family and whatnot. That way, that's what they'll find, and it'll be just blatantly obvious what they're doing. Then, that's.
And Team Skeptic says that he's going to take me to my first titty club, and he says, "Oh wait, you'll have to be 18 to get in my bed, maybe in 3 years or so."
And coming from Team Skeptic, who, you don't exactly look like the oldest boy on the block either.
I mean, I feel like there's probably a whole lot of people in the world that probably look younger than what they are, and I actually blame all these movies that use people that are like 20 to play someone who's 15. For that.
That's it. Well, there's also different effects that we've made, like different advancements that we've made, which could have had an effect on keeping us appearing at least younger for longer, just from the generational differences of old. Because if you go back and even things like workplace environments, kids nowadays are going to school. Generally they're being looked after for longer by their parents. You go back 100 years. They weren't doing that. They were going into the mines. They were working at 7. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have parents looking after them. They were looking after themselves, and it wasn't a nice environment.
Yeah, but
that's just one piece of it's an example.
But can we highlight the reason that everybody knows? I think everybody knows that it's the fact that we're having too much soy these days.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah,
it's all the soy in the diet.
That's the reason. It's all these soy boys going and ruining everything.
I hate soy. I really do.
I
don't fancy it.
I don't drink soy milk. I drink almond milk. But I do have this textured soy protein.
Fair enough. I'm awful in that respect. Full cream, full fat milk or whatever. I couldn't care less. If it's milk and it tastes like milk, I'm happy. It's like if it's butter, it tastes like butter. I don't care if it's margarine. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So on the store shelves anyway, it's either going to get eaten or it's going to get chucked away.
Yeah, I like almond milk. It's not quite the same as regular milk, but you know, if you're just using it for I don't usually use milk. So if you're using it for something like for something like a hot chocolate, then it's very easy to just, you know, drink it without tasting the difference.
Yeah, if you've got a stronger flavor in there for sure.
Yeah.
I was thinking coffee, but then I was like, I stopped myself before I said it, because I know with coffee, a lot of people are very, very specific. You know, like a little change, like even different branded milk is enough to throw people sometimes. Different branded coffee, you know, is a big change. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
retract that before I say it.
And then there's people that want their lattes from Starbucks. I'm the sort of person that I enjoy a Starbucks Frappuccino, but usually when I don't have to pay for it.
Fair enough. I worked at a service station cafe as a barista, and I ended up getting people coming in from all the other coffee shops just on my shift, just so that they could have a coffee made by me. I hate coffee. Can't stand the stuff. Can't even stand the smell of coffee. But I can make a great brew. I'm gonna have to run for like 5 seconds. I just want to grab a can of Coke.
Well, I'll sign the show off, and because we've been going for 2 hours, and I've probably got other stuff that I should probably get to. So it's been nice having you on, NotJah. One thing that I didn't get to. Are you still there?
I hear silence.
I was going to ask if you're still there, because one thing I forgot to ask about is nachos.
Nachos.
And so,
What about them?
well, I know that you're often referred to as the Nacho Witness.
Yeah, it was one of the first nicknames somebody gave me. I can't even remember who now.
Yeah,
But it stuck.
So we'll so yeah, praise be to Nacho. That's something I can get on board with. But yeah, anyway, I'll sign the show off. It was great having you on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it was good fun.
Yeah, but anyway, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this stream. Leave a comment letting me know who you'd like me to bring on. This happens every second week, so next time I think I'll have Faraday Speaks on. So I'm not too I don't need to worry too much about having someone on for a couple of weeks, but then I'll probably start worrying. Or if I need to replace Faraday Speaks because he delays it, then that could be an issue. But I'll see how things go as the time goes on. But yeah, also make sure you go check out NotJah's channel. I think I've left a link in the description. And if you want to join my Discord, you can also do that. Link will be in the description. But anyway, I will see you in the next stream. Between you and me, thank you for watching. Fuck. Screw that up.